owners, agri-investors, agri-financiers, and governments, private sector, CSO, and different sectors that are playing a key role in the agricultural space. I want to specifically thank you all for coming out and coming out on time. If we are going to change the narrative, I want to repeat, it's important that we begin to change it from little habits such as keeping to time. I'll be going straight into my speech, a welcome address by Mr. Daniel Black, the Executive Director of Growth for Sustainable Agriculture Initiative, on the occasion held on the 28th day of June 2025 at Barcelona Hotel, Abuja, with all protocols to government dignitaries, the presence of the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Livestock Development, ably represented, the presence of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Sufficiency, ably represented, the presence of IITA Youth in Agribusiness training program. We have their coordinator here, and esteemed guests and well-wishers. Welcome to NIFATS 2025. I would like to hear a response. Welcome to NIFATS 2025. So it's a great honor to stand before you today as we convene what is not only a landmark event, but a defining moment in our collective journey towards a safer, more resilient and inclusive agricultural system in Nigeria. At GSAI, we are propelled by a clear and compelling mission to transform African agriculture by equipping farmers, especially stakeholders, especially smallholders, with the tools, the knowledge, and the opportunities they need to farm smarter, safer, and more sustainably. Our vision remains firmly noted in the belief that Africa does not need more farmers. Africa needs better farmers. We are not interested in saying more people come and farm. We are interested in saying those that are farming, farm better. Over the last 3 years, GSAI has remained deeply committed to this vision. From the heartlands of the north to the vibrant agricultural communities in the south, we have empowered hundreds of rural and smallholder farmers through technical trainings, agri-innovation exposure, and improved access to markets. Signature initiatives such as our Green Career Advocacy Program, which inspires young Nigerians to explore agri-tech pathways. And currently, our 10,000 yam heaps cultivation project, which strengthens climate-resilient farming, and just a few reflections of our impact-driven approach. I'll just take a very few minutes to explain that, or just to highlight on that. Currently, our organization is carrying out a 10,000 yam heaps project in Kubwa, in Chikagore, Kubwa, where we are working with local farmers to employ sustainable farming techniques to plant yam. And the farmers are so excited because for the first time, they are seeing how yam can be planted with treated seeds, with improved seedlings from IITA that we got, and then with improved techniques. We are enriching the soil with organic matter, and we are using different forms of climate-smart techniques such as mulching, such as vertical staking, to ensure that we have maximum yield and ensure food safety within our country. That is one of the projects we are currently carrying out in Kubwa. And we have a second plot in Kuje. This year we launched our most ambitious campaign yet, the 2025 World Food Safety Day Commemoration Project. A national call to action dedicated to raising awareness, strengthening capacity, and driving systems change in farm-level food safety, with over 1,500 farmers already reached. Through our 8 weeks virtual training, let me also emphasize on this, from the 6th of May till just yesterday, the 27th of June, we carried out an 8 weeks intensive virtual training. It was 16 classes, 2 days a week, where we carried out training on farm food safety compliance. And the result was exciting. I saw farmers for the first time interested in food safety. And this project was inspired by a loss I made recently, where a friend of mine in the United Kingdom recently reached out to me and needed sesame. What did I do? I just went into the market, bought some sesame. He needed samples first because he had a contact to make supplies. I just went into the market, bought some sesame, packaged it and sent it. And 100% of that sesame was rejected. Here it dawned on me that you cannot randomly pick an agri-produce in Nigeria and sell it in international markets. A random agri-produce in Nigeria cannot meet up international standard. Then what are we eating? Are we in Nigeria? Do we have a special system that is different from those abroad that we can eat anything? And this inspired the World Food Safety Commemoration Project, where we are trying to work with African farmers, both smallholders and large-scale farmers, because we notice it's only large-scale farmers that are intentionally farming for export, and that is an anomaly. Why are you farming for export? That is, you do some specific things because you're sending this out. The ones we are eating inside here, you don't do them. You continue to use atrazine to farm your maize. You continue to apply pesticide and insecticide for us Nigerians to eat. But when you want to send it out, you are careful the kind of pesticides. You are careful the kind of practices you carry out because it will be tested abroad. So, we now went on this campaign to ensure that both local and export produce in Nigeria should meet up the same standard. And we also discovered that this is because of a huge knowledge gap. So many farmers do not know what is HACCP, the hazard analysis and control point. They do not know that there are safety standards as a farmer. And yes, I want to add this because we are going to be bringing out a communique from this event. We are going to have a technical breakout session. And in that session, my first proposal for that communique is that governments, CSOs, every stakeholder needs to intentionally begin to work on the PR, the public relations for agriculture. We need to tell Ministry of Education to stop putting dirty farmers as a picture on your agricultural science textbook.
Yes, sir.
We need to begin to know that agriculture is not a dirty business. In fact, agriculture should be cleaner than medicine.
Exactly. True, sir.
Agriculture should be practiced in the most hygienic and best of standards. And then these things are not expensive. We are not asking you to buy high-tech infrastructure. We are asking you to put in some basic principles. Do not fetch water from the gutter to spray your farm or to wash your equipment. After every farm operation, wash your equipment. These are some key basic things that farmers have learned over the 8 weeks training. They have also been exposed to the different standards, SON, NAFDAC, HACCP, and different safety standards that farmers are supposed to comply to. I want a Nigeria where you can wake up one morning and say, I want to sell outside. And you can sell without having to do extra measures because you had already done that measure. And I believe that very, very soon we will see that Nigeria. So, today's summit, NIFATS 2025, marks the grand finale of this campaign and also the beginning of a new tradition. I am proud to officially announce that the Nigerian Farmers Townhall Summit will now become an annual event, providing a recurring platform for national dialogue, shared learning, policy engagement, and cross-sector collaboration. Before I move further, I want to especially appreciate the Federal Ministry of Livestock Development, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Sufficiency. They welcomed us with open arms, and they have told us, now that we know you, as you continue, we will be behind you. I also want to especially appreciate IITA, International Institute of Tropical Agriculture. They are a standard in agriculture, and today they have brought in their trainees to be part of this. And this is a huge endorsement for us. We are so excited, we are so encouraged, and we will continue to do more. Now, But this year's NIFATS is special. It is action-oriented, and we are proud to unveil several landmark outcomes that will shape the path forward. Number one, the signing of Farm Food Safety Pledge, which most of us have done here. Thank you to all our special guests that have committed to food safety from the farm. If you have not signed it during the break or before you go, there is a food safety pledge outside where you just need to sign. Show your commitment. Please, when you sign it, take a picture, post it on social media, and show your commitment to food safety from the farm. The presentation of the NIFATS 2025 communique, which will be as a result of the breakout sessions that we will have here today, and an agricultural investment and innovation exhibition, which, as you can see, we have so many exhibitors. And then we will, this word, when we use the word launch, so many people say, people want to come and collect money. So at this point, I will paraphrase to unveil the GSAI Farmers Vanguard. The Farmers Vanguard is a network of farmers across Nigeria, and we are working to, one of the things that is necessary in bringing change is data. So we are sure that we have the data of farmers, and we are working to ensure that the change is effected. So, to every farmer here today, this summit was designed with you in mind. You are not just an attendee, you are the architect of Nigeria's food security and economic resilience. Your ideas, experience, and commitments are what will drive the transformation forward. Let today mark the beginning of new partnerships, greater innovation, and most importantly, safer and sustainable farms. Before I hand over this mic, I want to specifically thank my team. This has not been me alone. I just happen to be privileged to head the team. I have a team of wonderful volunteers, a team of wonderful staff that have supported GSAI to achieve what it has achieved so far. So I know some are still running around to ensure that today is a success, but few are in the room. I want to recognize our programs officer, Mr. Victor Obai. Please, can you just stand for recognition? That's our programs officer. He's the man behind our programs. Our admin officer, most of you have heard that name, but you've not put a face to the name. Miss Asma Musa. She's the one that invited most of you. All the emails you've been sending, she's been the one responding. We have other team members out there. Yes, and the person in our Chikakore farm, our project officer in Chikakore farm in Bukwa, where we are farming the yams, Mr. Moses. Mr. Moses, please stand for recognition. He's the project officer in the Chikakore farm. And all the volunteers, ushers, the volunteers that are close by, could you just wave? Could you just wave? Our protocol officer, Mr. Dominos. Believe me, I couldn't have done this alone. This has been the work of a superfluous team, and I will always want to work with them. Thank you so much for coming out. Enjoy the rest of the event as I welcome our moderator, Ms. Ebade Ominu, to take over the mic, and please give our special guest the introduction that they deserve.
Wow. What a way to start, ladies and gentlemen. It's been an absolute honor to be here to moderate today's session. And I must say that going through the trajectory of GSA and what we've done so far, I am a convert. Being a trained lawyer and of course working in the public sector for the last 10 years, I would say that in the last 8 weeks, I have been converted. Please clap for me. And like you rightly also mentioned that when it comes to farming, there is a very French stereotype attached to farming. But ladies and gentlemen, that myth must be disabled. It must be jettisoned. It must be changed. But how do we do that? It has to be from people like you and me seated here today, who are part of the commitments, the ED has just expressed when it comes to farming. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much, the Executive Director, Mr. Daniel Black, for that deeply insightful and inspiring address. It's not just a presentation. That wasn't just a presentation. That wasn't just an opening. That was a call to action and to salute. Please, everyone applause the very please. Thank you for that foundation. What a powerful way to start. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my distinct honor to introduce some people here. Some people who are here today have been instrumental to why we're having these conversations today. They believe in the dream, they believe in the call to action, they have given their time, their talent, their treasure, and today, they're also with us to ensure that today goes smoothly and we also enjoy ourselves. Ladies and gentlemen, please permit me to make welcome, to introduce you all to from the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, Dr. Aisha Nasiri, sir. Please. Thank you very much, Doctor, for being here with us this morning. Also, representing the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Livestock Development. Ladies and gentlemen, please, Dr. Myro Kachala. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. All the way from Standards Organizations of Nigeria. If you have listened to his inspiring conversation, he did say that we have to live up to standard. And it's a standard that must be accepted locally and globally. Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Standard Organizations of Nigeria, please make welcome Mr. Okita Wendimo. Mrs. She's also representing Mr. Yunusa Muhammad, who's the HOD of Standards Development, ladies and gentlemen. Now, coming quickly as well, please make welcome Dr. Ifeanyi Chukwunoso KK. Okay, you're also representing him as well. I mean, let's put that together for her, please. We're representing powerful people here today, and we're excited to have you in our midst. Ladies and gentlemen, also introducing the CEO of Giamca. Is it Giamca? Am I correct? Giamca? Yes. Giamca Legacy Wave Limited. Mr. Zamdai Precious. Thank you so much for coming. We appreciate you and thank you for honoring us this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, the project coordinator, Youth in Agriculture Projects. Please make welcome Mr. Adebayo Awototumbo. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. I mean, we have heard inspiring conversations from the ED. He talked about the mechanisms, the methods at which we drive agriculture in Nigeria, and also the need for us to be standardized. What should be accepted locally should also be accepted internationally. And he said something very key. He said farmers should be more hygienic than medical doctors. We should practice more hygiene, you know. And the truth is, when you look at it critically, it's like a secular motion, it's like a secular economy. You know, what happens in the farm would either decide if you be in the hospital or not. Yes or no? What happens in your farmland, how you treat your crops, how you plant, and how you drive from planting to cultivation all the way to the value chain would actually determine if you be in the hospital or not. That was a very apt one, sir. Thank you very much for that, for that insight. We did also mention the 8-week training, intensive 8-week training. I must say, like I said before, I am a convert, and I'm sure a lot of people who joined that training can attest to the level of training they got. It was deep insight. No one has ever done it, but I mean, you have done it, sir, and you're still doing it. May the Almighty keep giving you the strength. This is laudable, and of course, as usual, we're all here to support you till the very end. Well done, sir, for that. Ladies and gentlemen, please let's not forget the final charge. He said, the final charge for farmers. He did reiterate that with ideas, experience, and commitment, the farming in Nigeria will be a game changer, ladies and gentlemen. With ideas, experience, and commitment, the farming in Nigeria will be a game changer. And he has urged all of us here to ensure that we pen our names down to the safety pledge, just right behind the wall. Please do so to ensure that you're able to commit yourself with ideas, with experience, with commitment, and to all hold ourselves accountable to the safety pledge that we'll all sign here today. It is possible. Who says it's not possible? It is possible. In the last 4 days, I had the opportunity to sit in the room with the African Bank for your annual meeting, and the conversations have been, how do we drive Africa forward? How do we build a formidable Africa? How do we build a formidable people? How do we build a thriving continent? And whether we like it or not, Agriculture in itself is one of those ways in driving and propelling the continent to a greater height. Yes or no, farmers? Yes or no? Yes or no? So it means that we have to commit ourselves. And how do we commit ourselves? Commit ourselves to the high standards that are actually desirable, the high standards that are important, ladies and gentlemen. Please, a round of applause for you all to take care today. Please clap for yourselves. Well done, well done. Ladies and gentlemen, we have FarmFact Incorporated. FarmFact, thank you very much for being here. Sustain EQ Solutions Limited, thank you very much. We have Soilless Farm Lab. We have Etel. We have Interface. We have Apex. We have GCDAR. We have Days Black Agro Industries Limited. We also have the Urban Direction Initiative. We have the Agro and Environmental Services Limited. We have the Cheap Market Deal. We have the NAF. I'm going to come back also because there's more of them to come. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll dive down right now into the next item for today's conversations. Remember, we're here to call ourselves to action and hold ourselves more accountable. To set the tone for this morning's conversation is no other person but Dr. Ugoso Solomon Akigibira, Faculty of Agriculture, University of Abuja. And the topic, ladies and gentlemen, the topic, like never before, the first of its kind, ladies and gentlemen, is the role of science and innovation in enhancing food security and safety for a sustainable agricultural future in Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, please make a warm welcome for Dr. Ugoso.
Thank you so much. Great Nigerian farmers.
Yes.
When I got an invitation to be here, ED, please permit me to stand on the already established protocol. When I got an invitation to be here, I was happy. I said, wonderful. So we still have a great future of agriculture in Nigeria. Today, agriculture is underdeveloped. Everybody wants to be into oil business, crude oil business, and other businesses that can actually boost their economic growth. And today, Growth for Sustainable Agriculture Initiative is actually here to awaken some of our hope that tomorrow the future of agriculture in Nigeria is still bright. I'll be talking to you on the topic harnessing science and innovation for food safety and sustainable agriculture in Nigeria. What you may have in your program may be slightly different from what is on the board. Anyway, they are still the same meaning. So, poor agricultural practices and production and unsafe food have significant consequences on both human health, economic hardship, social instability, and environmental degradation. We are talking about safety of food. And I want to match the two of these terminologies, safety and sustainable development of agriculture in Nigeria. After we produce safe food, after we make our agriculture to be safer, how do we sustain it? That is why I want to match the two of them. Let us see how we can make our food safe and also sustain our agriculture practices in Nigeria. Observation has shown that Nigerian agricultural activities are not fully leveraged on science and innovation. We regard to our farmers as local people. And that is why when I was listening to our ED, I was so happy that agriculture should not be regarded as the last hope for a common man in Nigeria. Because it is through agriculture that we are able to get our shelter. Through agriculture, we are able to get food. And also through agricultural proceeds. Most of the drugs we take today that are useful to our illnesses, that are used to cure our diseases, are agricultural proceeds or products. But then, we don't actually apply the use of science and technology in agriculture, because we have taken agriculture to be an activity for a common man, for rural people, rural dwellers, for people who are not educated. So we don't actually apply science and technology in the course of carrying out agricultural activities. 10. The resultant effects of this neglect are food insecurity, malnutrition, and increased risk of diseases. When we don't apply scientific ideas and innovative ideas in agricultural practices, the resultant effect is what we can see today: many illnesses and malnutrition, and also food insecurity. In 1993, Doxy proposed a model of science and innovation which suggests that scientific discoveries drive innovation through engineering and manufacturing, with a first linear model called science pool. This proposal, this theory has the first model called science pool. And what is science pool? Science pool simply means that innovation in agriculture must start with scientific ideas. If you actually want to bring innovations in agriculture or into agricultural practices, it must start from scientific background. Not only that, through manufacturing and also marketing. Application of science into agricultural activities will help you to actually add value to your agricultural products or proceeds. So the first model of this theory is the science pool, which implies that you must pull scientific ideas, you must bring in scientific practices in order to produce and also market. The second model is the demand pool initiative or demand pool linear model. And what is demand pool? Demand pool implies that all the activities we are carrying out in agriculture are demanded. The profits we are producing, the products of agriculture are demanded. They are having very high demand. Therefore, you need to actually study the demand for these agricultural products and then key into production. You cannot just produce because you want to produce. People must have demand for these proceeds, for these products. They never bear that in their mind. You will now carry out some innovative practices. You will now introduce innovative ideas that can actually brand your products, that can actually add value to your products to make them attractive to consumers. So he proposed that this theory, in the first place, you must apply scientific ideas or practices to produce your crops or animals. And secondly, the proceeds, the products you are producing are demanded for by the public. Therefore, you must apply science and innovation into agricultural production. Then, briefly sketch out the science pool model and the demand pool model. I told you, you must apply basic science or scientific ideas. For you to conveniently produce crops and animals that will look attractive, that will meet the demand of the populace, you must apply basic scientific ideas. Not only that, you must apply research and development. Most of the activities we are carrying out here today are research oriented. Somebody sat down, think of a particular idea, and is selling the idea to you people today. That is research. So you must apply research. Not only that, you produce or you construct. After that, you market. If you don't follow this line, if you don't follow this chain, all you will be doing will be useless. Then, the second model is the demand pull model. People are demanding for the products we are producing. So, you must bear in mind that there is demand for your products. Then, you apply research and development. How do you apply research? How do you know that people are having demand for your crops, for your proceeds? Through research and development, you can acquire that knowledge. Then you produce, and finally, you make sense. So, for agricultural activities to be effectively carried out, you must apply science and innovation, and you must follow these two models for you to be successful. So, why do we apply science and innovation in food and agricultural production or agricultural activities? Why do you do that? You will discover that today, most of our agricultural activities are carried out using primitive tools. We use our local tool, local implements. Look at them there. All these tools are primitive tools. They are not innovative equipment. So this is what we normally use on our farms. You go to our rural areas, even in urban areas, people use primitive agricultural tools for production. So, we need to apply science and innovation in agricultural production. These are the reasons why we have a poor application of science and innovation in agriculture. Number one, wrong perception about technology. So many of our farmers, they have wrong perception about technology. They don't actually accept the use of technological tools or ideas in agricultural production. Number two, low technical know-how. So many of our farmers do not have the knowledge on how to use these technological equipment or appliances for agricultural activities. Then, production cost is one of the problems why we don't actually apply use of science and innovation in agriculture. Then, conservation. Many of our farmers are conserved. They stick to their natural belief that we don't do like this. I was discussing with somebody yesterday. The farmer told me, in my own village, on my plot, I don't allow use of tractors because the tractor will turn the soil upside down. The fertile one will be buried. The infertile soil will be up. Then the crops will not do well. This is a conserved idea. And most of the people say we don't use fertilizers on our crops. Somebody was telling me yesterday that I don't eat agri-fowl because what is there is chemicals. I don't want to be infected by any of the chemicals. I don't want any chemical to give me any hazard into my body. So many of us are concerned about science and innovation. So we stick to what we know in all the depths. So we don't want to change to our modern day agricultural activities. The lack of awareness. Many of our farmers today are not aware of use of technology in agricultural activities. I went with my handset somewhere at Kwali. I wanted to detect some crops and diseases on the cassava farm. So when I brought out my handset, snapping, taking videos of these crops, in order to detect a particular disease, This farmer told me, Oga, please, what are you doing on my cassava farm? I said, I just want to detect some diseases. He said, please, stop. I don't want that. And I stopped. So, lack of awareness of use of science and technology in agriculture for agricultural activities is one of the reasons why we don't apply use of science and innovation in agriculture. The last one is poor training. Many of us are not given the adequate training that will actually help us to effectively apply science and technology in agricultural activities. And I am happy to hear that today people took part in an intensive training, almost 8 weeks. This is very good. And because of poor training, that is the reason why we are here today. We want to be trained on how to apply science and technology in agricultural activities. So, what is all about this science? What is science? If I may ask, somebody says science is described as a systematic order or body of knowledge that uses experiments, observations in order to actually come out with something good. Many of us feel I am not a scientist. I didn't pass through chemistry. I didn't pass through physics. I didn't pass through biology, Greek, and mathematics. Therefore, I don't have the knowledge to get into agricultural activities. No. You will be a scientist on your own. You sit down, think of what you can do to actually improve on your agricultural activities. And you do that. That is science. What about innovations? You can also sit on your own, think of something to do that can actually improve your agricultural activities. And you have carried out innovative ideas. Look at what he said. All these scientific equipment, they are used for observations, experiments. And the essence of bringing them into agriculture is to actually help us improve on our agricultural activities and also produce safe food and sustain agriculture. Then, we have innovation. What is here is called, look at what is here, this diagram down. This is hydroponic stand. That thing is called hydroponic. Crops are being grown on the water. This is ordinary water. What you can see is just a casing that houses the water. Look at the crops growing up. Inside this, there is some fertilizers content inside the water. Then you have air box. This one, this is what pushes both the chemicals and the water to the root zone of the crops. So we have an air plug. This other side pushes air into the container, and then your crops are conveniently grown under this condition called hydroponic. This is an idea that somebody brought out. That today we can call it an innovation. You can equally do that. You can sit on your own, think of a particular thing you will do to actually bring an innovation in agriculture. So, why do we ensure food safety? We are talking about food safety. Why do we ensure food safety? Number one, we ensure food safety because we want to shield consumers from unfavorable health consequences. Our ED said agricultural activities should be better than that of health services. Yes, I agree with that. Because if we keep agricultural proceeds unhealthy, you are causing more harm to the consumers. So, we ensure food safety to avoid our customers having health challenges. Number two, safeguard public health, so that our people will not be infected by diseases. Most of agricultural products contain most of the pathogens that introduce diseases into our bodies. When they are not well kept, when they are unhealthy, when they are unsafe. So we need to safeguard the public health so that most of the illnesses they contract from crops should not be there. Number three, we want to reduce the burden or the healthcare system. Look at the man beside. He consumed those beans. Those beans are not unsafe. They are unsafe. They are not safe. The beans are infected. And this young man consumed those unsafe beans and he got ill. He is now receiving treatment in the clinic. So, we want to assure public health. Then also, we want to assure the safety of exported and imported food products. We export and import food products. Therefore, the products ought to be very, very safe. Also, we want to build trust between consumers and food products. Those people who consume our food should have a very good high level of trust. That if I buy from Anthony, the food products are safe and I'll be healthy. Also, we want to increase confidence of the consumer in the food supply chain. There is a food supply chain, and through this chain, let there be confidence that Mr. A came to buy product from me, he went and sent this product out. The consumer said the products are good. So I have confidence in his own products. So let me ensure that the products are safe. Then, how do we assure food safety? How do we assure food safety? Number one, food item must be purchased from a very reputable and services like farmers market. The product, the person you are buying products from, is it from a high reputable source? Does it maintain hygienic conditions? Does it keep its product very, very safe? So, we must ensure that the products are being procured or obtained from those people who keep their products safety. Then also, another way of ensuring the food safety is to use of clean cotton and boards, as well as storing the facilities. Look at that container. I saw it today with our marketer. I was so impressed. When you keep it in a very safe, airtight container like this, the food will be safe. The food product will be safe. Also, use of treated bags. These are treated bags. These bags, once you store or keep your food products inside them, the food will be assured of having a safety condition. So, these are the ways we will assure our food safety. Then, there is a chart that actually demonstrates how safety food can be processed. Here, we have the raw materials. These raw materials, most of the times, undergo a particular environment that is not actually safe. So, we must decrease the level of harmful microorganisms on our food products. After that, we ensure that these products are not introduced to pathogens. This other place, you see recommendation after environment. That is a particular stage where most of the microorganisms are likely to infest our food products, and we make sure that we do away with them. So, there is a cyclic process of sustainable agriculture. And what is this process? We are talking about sustainable agriculture. How do we go about it? There is a cyclic process of sustaining our agricultural products or agriculture. The first thing, you must make sure you improve on the environment to ensure that this environment is healthy. It's not contaminated by either pathogens or any other thing that can make our food product or food not to be safety. So, number one stage is to ensure that you improve on your environmental health. Where you keep your products should be healthy. The environment where these food products are being brought from should be healthy. The people handling these products or these proceeds or these agricultural products should be healthy. So, the first process is to maintain a healthy environment. Number two, you minimize off-site environmental impacts. Most of the times, there are environmental impacts that cause harm, that cause deterioration, that damage our food or food products. So you make sure all these impacts are shared off. Number three, reduce environmental risk. In our environment today, there are risks: fire, excess humidity, excess temperature, low temperature, and other risks that are usually found in our environment. So, one of the processes to ensure that there is a sustained agricultural product or agricultural practices, you ensure that there will be a reduced environmental risk. All the risk in our environment should be reduced. Yes, some of these risks are naturally occurring risk, like climatic factors. But to some extent, you can reduce some of the effect of these climatic factors. The fourth process is to ensure that you optimize the resource use and conservation. The resources you are using to carry out agricultural practices should be conserved. Don't overspend your money. Don't empty your agricultural money. So that if there is any emergency, the money can take care of it. So make sure there is a conservation. So some people will say, I don't need to reserve money. Money can come tomorrow. It's risky. Reserve some money to ensure that the pocket is not completely empty. So that any occurrence or any demand for agriculture, you can use the money for. Then also high production benefits and low cost production. In agribusiness, we always ensure that we maximize profits, then we minimize cost. So if you embark on an agricultural activity that at the end of it will not give you a profit, that is not a business. Agri is also a business. And the essence of doing this business is to get a profit. So, this is a process that you must ensure that you maximize profit and then minimize loss. So, it's one of the processes that we can actually embark upon to sustain our agriculture or agricultural activities. Then the last one, improve food production. If we don't carry all these processes, if we don't undergo these processes and study this cyclic process, agriculture cannot be sustained. Agricultural activities cannot be sustained. Then after you carry out your improved food production, then you go back again to make sure that you sanitize your environment, you clean it, and start the process of agricultural activities all over. Then, if this cyclic process is followed, our agricultural activities or production will be sustained. So, how do we bridge the gap of science and food safety and sustainable agriculture? I told you there is a relationship between science, innovation, food safety, and sustainable agriculture. How can we do that? How can we bridge the gap? Number one, scientists help us discover the threats unknown to farmers and consumers. Scientific ideas, scientific experiments, scientific observations will help us to identify, to detect those threats that are confronting agricultural products that prevent us from being successful in agricultural activities. Then, another way we can bridge the gap is to predict food contaminants that pose dangers on human health. Scientists help us to predict. They carry out the analysis, and then will tell us this food is not healthy, don't consume it. This is a very key role of scientists in agricultural production and also food safety. They detect that particular thing, danger that may cause a problem to you, and tell you not to consume it. Then they also carry out thorough research to produce trustworthy data that aids consumers, food companies, and policy makers in making safe and a very good educated business. Scientists carry out many research activities, and they will be able to predict, to tell you what will happen in the future, be it climatic problem or diseases outbreak. They will tell you. So scientists have a very key role to play in agriculture. Another way we can bridge the gap of science in food safety and sustainable agriculture is to play a crucial role in ensuring both food safety and sustainability. Today, I am talking to you. This is another way of sustaining our food safety and the future of agriculture. So it's a very good way of bridging the gap. Last but not the least, scientists also play key roles in agricultural protection practices, food processing and packaging, as well as waste management. So all these activities are the ways by which scientists can actually help us to bridge the gap between them and food safety as well as agricultural sustainability. So we have basic scientific techniques for food safety and sustainable agriculture. These techniques are being categorized into two. For food safety, you ensure that you carry out good agricultural practices. Then, good manufacturing practices. We have good storage and distribution practices, as well as other practices. Then for sustainability, you have those practices that can be carried out to sustain our agriculture. Then innovation for food safety and sustainable agriculture. There are common innovative ideas that we can use today to actually improve on our agricultural production. We have many innovative equipment and technologies that are used in agriculture today. We have use of drones. Drones can be used to monitor crops, monitor weather, diseases, and other factors that may affect our crops. Then we also have a scientific way of preserving our food. Go down. There are some scientific ways of preserving our food. All these practices, when put to use, our food will be saved. Then we have use of aeroplanes that are functional and applicable in agricultural activities today for fertilizer application, pest control, and other activities. Then you have a use of IoT, Internet of Things. This person down here, that is an irrigation unit. You can go with your handset and then command that app to irrigate all your farmland without going there to start any equipment or engine. With your handset and laptop, you go to the farm, you click on that particular app, and water will be coming out of the pipes to irrigate your crops. So all these are innovative ideas that can actually be used in agriculture for food safety and sustained agriculture. By conclusion, I say science and innovative practices cannot be detached from agriculture. Science and innovation are needed for various agricultural activities. This innovation improves agricultural production in all facets. It is important that science and innovative strategies be adopted by GSAI. If these strategies are adopted by farmers for a successful and profitable agriculture, the business of agriculture, the food safety will be sustained. By using these tactics, the organization will actually come to notice that it has created an environment that motivates farmers to adopt science and innovation in order to improve food safety, sustainable agriculture, and also people's health for the future of Nigeria. So, science and innovation are very key to agriculture. And today, I am happy to see what is happening in the GSAI. When I was watching the documentary, I was delighted. I said, yes, agriculture still has future in Nigeria. So, let us harness science and innovation in agriculture. By doing that, we will ensure safety food and also the business of agriculture will be sustained in Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Oh my goodness, that was so insightful. Thank you so much, Dr. Ogoso. I mean, that was so enlightening. Thank you so much. I found myself jotting a lot of times because these things you were saying were very practical. You could actually imagine what he was saying. What he was saying was not far from the truth of what we see on ground. Now, just run through a few points that I highlighted. Dr. Ogoso said so many things. And at first, he started with saying that for people in Nigeria, a lot of us see oil and gas as where the money is, and see farm as a last resort. Now, give a typical example. For those in civil service, you would recall that we are only told to farm and not have any other business. And sometimes I don't think that whole proposition by the law, so a standpoint that agriculture is not very productive. You can't make so much money from agriculture, and so don't do any other business but do agriculture. But they don't know. They don't know that that's the actual oil well. And so he dropped the point home, saying that agriculture should not be the last resort. Absolutely, it shouldn't be the last resort. In fact, it should be a bedrock of every foundational, exercise by anyone actually who wants to go into some career. Agriculture should be something that you see as valuable. He said agriculture proceeds in everything, and that agriculture can be used in everything. Look at it from the standpoint of shelter, food security, and even to the medicine. The medicine we talked about today, he referenced agriculture as one of the major drivers of that. He also said that application of science adds value in your products. He emphasized that agriculture in itself, adds value. Now, merge agriculture itself with science, it adds values in your products. He said there's a wrong perception of science and technology, which is true. And he delved deep into why we should ensure that we actually erode this misconception and embrace science and technology. He actually emphasized training as a sine qua non, training as a mainstay, training as the bedrock of ensuring that we erode this myth of science and technology fused with agriculture. Thank you so much, Dr. Ogoso. He went on to list a number of areas, where people are still very conserved and stuck in the old ways. He talked about the production cost, he talked about lack of awareness, he talked about poor training, he talked about conservation, and how people are stuck in their old methods. They'll say, no, this is how I know how to do it best. But you know what? I don't want to delve into something new. Be stuck in your old ways. He actually emphasized on that. And he also gave us tips on why food safety is important. He talked about public health, talked about the burden on the health sector, which is true. He talked about the building trust. And something fundamental he mentioned. He talked about the trade-trust relationship. And like I said before, I sat in the annual meeting in the past 4 days. And these conversations were about trade, trade in Africa. And he said something very fundamental. if we can live up to standards and evolve to the point where we can use science and technology, then we can actually build trust trade relations. Thank you so much for that pointer, Dr. Ogoso. You talk about increased confidence as well. Increased confidence when you actually use science and technology in agriculture. Thank you so much, sir. And he gave you how. How do you do this? You know, ensure you affiliate yourself with reputable sources. That was the very first pointer he mentioned, reputable sources. Ensure you're hygienic. Hygienic in how you drive your agricultural practices. You talk about consumer education, the need to actually educate consumers. Very important, very, very important. I talked about the safety food production procedures. He gave us a whole, 9 years of it. And I said, oh my goodness, this is an actual lecturer. Well done, sir, well done. Also gave us a cyclic process of sustainable agriculture with a whole diagram. And went deep in explaining why those processes are really important. And went further to say that science and technology and innovation cannot be detached. It says it cannot be detached from agricultural processes. You cannot detach science and technology. If we want to move from where we are currently to something bigger and higher, something achievable, something sustainable, something tradable, something reputable, then we must be ready to infuse science and technology. Ladies and gentlemen, please, a round of applause for Dr. Ogoso. Well done, well done, well done, Dr. Ogoso. That was so enlightening. And please, I also want us to please put our hands together for GSAI. Put your hands together for GSAI. This has been made possible by GSAI, ladies and gentlemen. Now, before Dr. Ogoso came on stage, and while he was speaking, we had two distinguished guests who also graced us with our presence. Remember, we had done introductions of special guests. We are all special, but these people have taken time. They've been their talent, their time, their treasure. They serve as advisory, in relations to GSAI, their family, their friends, and they've also ensured that today is possible, ladies and gentlemen. And please permit me to actually recognize the presence of Ambassador Dixon Omorege. He's the country director of the Institute of Culture and Diplomacy. Thank you so much for being here. In fact, when I saw him earlier, and I said, not about that. The black said, of course, that's the whole. I said, wow, I came all the way. Thank you so much, sir, for coming. Thank you. Also, with us is Mr. Olawumi Ayodele Olajide. He is the Director, Agricultural Extension Services, Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security. Thank you so much for being here. I mean, this is what we're talking about. All we need sometimes are these people to just sit down here and listen to us. Then we know that they have our backs. Then we know that we're not talking rubbish. The future is here and now, and we ensure that we get to that point. Thank you again, Dr. Ogoso. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point, I want us to be outstanding. We're going to do the stand up. Let's see who is the toughest here, who has done some things and has not done some things. Let the people that would, let them be at the ball and the tackle. Let's be strong and be confident, ladies and gentlemen. Are we all ready? Are we all ready? Yes. I can't hear you. Are we ready? Yes. Are we ready? Yes. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen. I need that sound now. That sound, like a challenge. Ladies and gentlemen, now is the time. Stand up if you've ever been chased by a goat off your farm. By a goat off your farm, stand up. If you've ever been chased by a goat off your farm, stand up. A goat can chase you out of your farm, please keep standing. It can chase you. I said to a goat, by a farm or off farm, stand up. Off farm, okay, excellent. Stand up if you've ever prayed for rain and then ready to stop. Have you prayed for rain before? Stand up. Have you prayed for rain to stop before? Stand up. You say, oh, rain, come on. Stand up. You say, make this rain stop now. Keep standing. Okay? Now, stand up if you use your cap or wrapper to wipe your sweat in the sun. You don't have to use your clothes. You don't have to wipe your sweat. Let's see, you keep standing. Now, goat, your chicken, your cow, your maize, your corn, your rice. When I was looking at you, then bro now, please now, I want to happen. Okay, now. Also, stand up. If you ever turned plantain or yam into a full meal in your farm pot, in your farm, have you turned yam or plantain into a full meal like boiling or roasted yam? If you are not your farm, stand up, let's see it. Okay. So, you guys want to talk throughout this day. Now, stand up if you've lost your slippers to think more during rainy season. Stand up if you've lost your slippers to think more or generation. If you've lost your slippers to generation or think more. Okay. Stand up if you probably showed someone a picture of your harvest. They're proud. Ladies and gentlemen, stand up if you believe farming is serious business, not a backup plan. If you feel farming is serious business and not a backup plan, serious business and not a backup plan. If you think farming is serious business, you continue to do it. If not believe it's a farming, it's a serious business, you can sit out. So you think farming is a serious business and not a backup plan to stand up. Ladies and gentlemen, now pause and look around you. These are not just farmers. These are not just farmers. These are nation builders. They are rainmakers. They are food heroes. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the real power behind Africa's future. Let's celebrate ourselves today, ladies and gentlemen.